Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television. This is the editor's memo. Good morning, my panelists from Miriam Ogutu, the host in headquarters in Nairobi. Good morning.
Doc, good morning to you and good morning to our viewers.
Across in CBD, good morning, Miriam. Thank you very much. We have Gladwell Kiragu, good morning in Kiambu.
A very good morning to Dr. David Matsanga. Good morning to Miriam. Good morning to my fellow panelists.
Thank you very much. Daniel Wesonga, it is a public holiday. You are at home. Good morning.
Very good morning to you, Dr. Matsanga David. Good morning to our viewers here in Nairobi, Kenya, and the rest of the globe who are watching us this morning. It is indeed my pleasure to be on the panel this morning.
Thank you very much. And Douglas Kirimi from Meru, the Badeas Mountains, Mount Kenya slopes. Good morning.
A very good morning to you, Dr. David, and also to Miriam Ogutu, our crew and our friends across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And to also my co-panelists, good evening, depending on where they're watching us from. Thank you, Dr. David, for having me on the show today.
Thank you very much from Meru. The legacy trend leg goes on from tomorrow. Thank you very much. Kiptanui from Nakuru County. Good morning.
A very good morning to you, Dr. David. Good morning, Miriam. Good morning, everybody. And good morning, our viewers. Good evening, our viewers. Thank you for having me on this show this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This show is short, precise, and my role is to bring the editor's memo. First, before I do that, I would like to see some comments from any of you on the topic that we have. Any comments that you have, peace, elections and peace in Africa. Do they sound familiar to all of you? Elections and peace. Is there something connected to elections and to peace in Africa? Do you connect any of the two? You find out something that creates one of them, or which of the one must be paramount? That is what we are going to look at. Miriam? Any other information that editor's memo is, one by one? Let's start with Daniel, then you will come in later, then I finish. Javani Karanja from Nanyuki, you are joining us. Good morning. It has gone again. When Karanja comes in, it goes. Are you hearing me, people? You just do the hand. Are you hearing me? Yes? On the screen. So good morning, viewers. I think, do you have anything to say, Tanui?
Yes. Let me come in. Elections in Africa, Daktari, has been actually a tool. Due to unpreparedness in these elections in Africa, it has actually come out that these elections are marked by a lot of violence because there is no preparedness. Let us go back to 2007, 2008, here in our country, in Kenya. We were actually marked by a lot of violence. It was the election violence. Most of the people were displaced. Most of the people were killed because of election violence. What does this election violence come? It comes in due to unpreparedness. Many of the electoral processes that has undergone in these countries, like now in 2007, 2008, we had ECK, Electoral Commission of Kenya. That is now IEBC. You see, a lot of unpreparedness, a lot of corruption has actually contributed so much to elections violence in Africa. So there is no peace. So as we are heading towards elections in this country, especially in our country in Kenya, we are urging each one of us to maintain peace. But our politicians, our politicians are inciting our people in this country and other countries. They are actually undergoing through general elections in subsequent years. So it is my urge that as we are moving towards these elections, especially in this country, Daktari, let us maintain peace. Tomorrow we are having an ambassador's peace in Naswet, whereby we are engaging border guys. We want to sign a peace accord with them. What to
Okay, I want to ask you a direct question. You come from the Rift Valley, the epicenter of most of the operations where crisis. The crisis has been triggered as a result of elections. What are the people feeling in Nakuru, in the entire Rift Valley, about these forthcoming elections?
There are a lot of fear. When you see their faces, when you hear what they are speaking about, there are still a lot of fear. There's fear for these elections. Some of them in Banfore, some of them in other parts of this country are getting out of those hotspots. You remember I shared with you another photo. Somebody did that political differences has actually led to somebody. He went to his opponent farm. Kata hizo cabbages. So there are a lot of tension around. So let us not bury this thing. Let us sort out before we finish this 29 or 28 days to the general elections. Thank you.
So you say in the Rift Valley, where you are in Nakuru at the moment, and that is very good, Kiptanui, because you are speaking from the mouth. You are our legacy trained correspondent. Speaking from the Rift Valley in Nakuru, you have been working Trans Nzoia, Kitale, Lodwar. Naivasha, all narrow, very, very sure of what is going to happen. Is that the yes or no? Are they sure?
Yes.
Of whether violence will take place or not?
It will take place. 100% sure.
Oh my God. Okay, that is it. Let's be honest. And hold your fire there. I'm trying to establish the truth, because this is why I brought this topic. Elections and the peace. Gladwell, where you were in the location in Kiambu, or the location in the mountains, Mount Kenya area, you are the representative for the legacy around the central region. What is the talk about these elections?
Thank you so much, Doc. And I think I've talked about the situation in Mount Kenya, more so the center, I think, thrice. And Doc, I was having a conversation last week with some people, and this election actually it will turn out to be chaotic. Reason being, Doc, there are currently people actually coming to understand the people they are choosing, and actually the true colors actually revealing at these last moments. So it will be so chaotic. That is one. And we will go back to the 2007, 2008. When I visited Kisumu, Doc, I loved the city, but another thing, there's something I learned from the Kisumu people more so, the law there and the lawyers. They are so much focused in the central region politics more than their own center. Reason being, they all believe that this chaos come from central, because these central people are so good in causing chaos. That is what somebody told me, and that's why they are so focused in the central region and not to actually the lake region. Because there they have already decided, but now they said the ball is actually on the Mount Kenya people. They are the ones who will either make the country have peace, or actually we go back to the 2007, 2008. And that man told me, I won't explain further, but you go think why I've told you so. I'm actually still digesting there's that question. And Doc, because it is true. when you come to the Mount Kenya region, actually it's like we are divided. We are 50-50. We got 50% on the blue team. We got 50% actually on the yellow team. Actually, let me say that we are 50, 49, and 1% because 1% belongs to the Wajakoya. So you can see the imbalance that you have there. And that's why, Doc, you can see currently, I know of a family, they are friends, but because of political issues and affairs, the father is not talking to the son because of the difference in whom they are supporting. So that's what I'm trying to say. We've been enjoying the past 4 years, but this 5th year whereby Uhuru is actually retiring to go back to his place, and actually also even the presidents we have been having as a country, and most of the times when you're going to elections, we just enjoy 4 years. The 5th year actually something just comes up and our country is no longer at peace. Again, Doc, there's a question I always like that I always, when we're having the Twitter space, you always ask, what's the need for election anyway? I submit.
What's the need for election? So even in, I've gone down again a bit.
No, we can hear you.
Let me tell you frankly, Miriam, I hope you are noting all from Tanui, Gladwell. Let me come to the man on the slopes of Mount Kenya. Meru, my dear brother from Meru, the legacy friend, correspondent. How are you, Douglas? What do people think? What is the anticipation? Elections and the peace. What do people talk about? Because we also need to, as we preach on this platform, we want to say the truth, where the problems are going to be triggered from. Douglas, what do people say? And you look so nice in that shirt on the slopes of Mount. The shirt looks like the mountain itself of Meru.
Thank you, Dr.
Did
David.
you export some Mira?
Thank you, Dr. David. The signing ceremony for the Mira trade agreement has been postponed because the president of Somalia is in Turkey, is in hospital. But as soon as he comes back on his feet, we are assured by the president of the Republic of Kenya, through his representative, the Minister for Agriculture, the Honorable Peter Munya, that the trade agreement is going to go on as scheduled on time, and also we are going to reap the benefits. Dr. David, the issue of elections, I've said before and I've recorded sentiments of the people now, especially now across different regions. But here in Meru, we have people who have gone out of their way to also see the truth that elections do not have to disrupt our normal lives. We do not have to disrupt our normal lives because people are running for office. And for example, I have had several people, and especially leaders. I have a friend of mine, his name is Dr. James Medeka. He's running on an Azimio ticket, and he asked the people a very varied question that he has asked across the county. He asked the people, why would the 2 Nairots make you hate me as a candidate, or hate your brother or sister, or cause chaos, or suspect peace across our peaceful county of Meru? Over 9 constituencies are going to go berserk because of an election of 2 Nairots. So we need to also come to a conclusive end and also declare as the people of Kenya that we cannot be able to go to war because 2 people are running for elections, or 2 top contenders are going to run for elections in this country. One is a plain Nairot, and also another one is a Rek Nairot. There is no way in Meru we can be able to broke our lives, broke the Mira business, broke our farming, the banana farming where I come from, because 2 people or 3, 4, 5 people are running for president. We need to also draw the line. This is where we draw the line, and also now make sure that as a people, we also embrace peace, even as people do their own elections. I'm not running for president. My brother is not running for president. Nobody is running for president in Meru. And we need to be able to come to a conclusive end and also declare, like some people in Meru have said, that whoever becomes their governor will become their leader. Now, for us as a people in the Republic of Kenya, whoever becomes the president of the Republic of Kenya is our next leader for the next 5 years. And the sentiments of the people across the county because I work across the county throughout the week, and I've heard the people say that even though this election is, they are going to put their best foot forward, and also because at the end of the day, there is no point of me killing someone from Egembe or Tigania or from Imenti where I come.
We seem to be having a bit of a connection problem from Douglas Kirimi, who is joining us from Meru.
Because of election. Election is in the next 29 days, Dr. David Matsanga. I believe from the bottom of my heart that these people across this county have, from one end to the other end of their county, are going to embrace peace. I do not see any disruption of their peace or their normal lives or breaking anything across the county. And I believe that these people are going to also enjoy their county, enjoy their land, enjoy doing business with outside the world after elections, Dr. David Masanga. So far, so good. Thank you. I submit.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you very much, Douglas. You are honest, and Miriam has summarized our points there. And she has written 1, 2, 3 points so far. Let me come to Javani Karanja in Nanyuki. Javani Karanja, Nanyuki. Be honest. Elections and peace. What are people saying there?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. and the fellow panelists. And I think here in Nanyuki, the feeling is a bit different because from the honest part of it, people feel like it's like they're anxious, they're uncertain of what will happen as we head to this election. There are people who feel like if William Ruto loses this election, we might have some eruptions in Rift Valley. And think that is how majority of the people feel. Like if William Ruto loses, that is when we...
We have a problem.
Yeah, we do. I don't know if it's from our side, but the technical team is finding out. But we do have a problem there with the connection.
But the problem. Yes?
Sorry, we lost...
Karanja,
Go ahead.
we have a problem, and you can go ahead now.
Yeah, I'm saying that there are people who feel like the former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, has been on the presidential ballot for 2 times, in 2013 and 2017, and he lost, and there was no much fights in terms of that election. But this time round, they feel like Deputy President, because of the much investment that he has given to the people of Mount Kenya region and the country at large, and for the many years he has been on the campaign trail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we apologize for that. We have a bit of a problem this morning with some connections, and very well. Doc?
Very well.
Mm.
Let's when we get you now. The point quick and say what they feel. People are worried. People are happy about the elections. What about peace? Will peace prevail? Javani Karanja, speak without the video. Will peace prevail?
Yeah, peace will prevail because the people here in Mount Kenya region are known to be peaceful, and in the previous election, there are no reports of chaos and disruptions that has been reported in our region. I think that this time round, the difference is
But
in the previous elections, the people
your county borders
from Kenya region,
Laikipia. Your county borders Samburu.
yeah, it
And
borders
Masabit, is it Samburu? Yes, go ahead.
Samburu and Baringo and Meru and Isiolo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I was saying is that I was building up and saying that the difference this time round in Mount Kenya region is that we are not supporting our candidate. There's no that candidate that we are supporting as a bloc. So the people are divided. There are those who support the deputy president, and there are those who support the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And that is why people are anxious of what might happen, because for the first time, we might see the people of Mount Kenya region maybe going outside there demonstrating because their presidential candidate has lost. Because the people from Mount Kenya region, since 2002, for the last 20 years, they don't know what it means to lose a presidential election. I think this time round, they might have a taste of what the people of Nyanza and the people of the Luo Nyanza have been doing for the last 3 or 4 general election. And that is why I feel that this time round, the reaction of the results might be different from what we have been seeing. We might see people going on the street celebrating, maybe those who win, but those who lose, they might wait for their presidential candidate to give them a signal on what to expect. And that is why there's a feeling of confusion, there's a feeling of anxiety, and I think time will tell, but people feel like if William Ruto loses, that is when things might turn chaotic. But people in Mount Kenya region are known to be business people, and I don't see how they will close their business and go on the street to demonstrate simply because William Ruto or the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has lost an election. On the issue of insecurity in Laikipia County and Baringo, I think these things these things escalates when we have a general election, when a general election nears. But this time round, I think even the way things are different, because there's no cases of insecurity of late, and people are settled. And I think this is all as a result of uncertainty, and people are not very clear who will win. So people are calm. They are not reacting. And I think the feeling is these regions of Laikipia, Baringo, the feeling is mutual. We are still waiting on what will happen, but people are optimistic that this election will be a peaceful one, because this region is known to be peaceful throughout since 2002.
Okay, thank you very much. Wesonga, briefly.
Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga David. And of course, personally, I've been moving around the country. I've been around Nairobi, and whatever maybe information I've gathered is not different from what my fellow co-panelists have talked about. And this is something also that Dr. Masanga has been talking for quite some time. And I believe that the problem of Africa, and if we have to trickle it down to Kenya, is the political class and the electoral bodies that actually bungle the elections. And that is actually the feeling that is on the ground, that people are so much willing, the citizenry is so much willing to be able to adhere to whichever outcome that will be of the election, guaranteed that the political class does not interrupt the process, and also the commission, the IEBC, foresees free, fair, and credible election. And just like my brother Douglas Kiribi Bundi, Jevan Karanja, Kitanui, Sevania, and Gladwell Kirago have said, you know, if it is not for the politicians who always come out to call on people to go on the streets, if it is not for the political class that actually incites the people, if it is not for the IEBC that brings the hearts of the people of Kenya and actually erodes their trust in the institution, then Kenyans are peaceful people. There is no anything that can get them out on the streets to be able to demonstrate. And therefore, the feedback I've been getting from the electorate across Nairobi County, more so the informal settlements where a majority of the people are actually actively involved in the electoral process, is that they are waiting upon the IEBC. There's some kind of disquiet, there's some kind of tension, there's some kind of doubt about whether or not Wafula Chebukati will be able to foresee a free and fair process when it comes to elections. There is a lot of stories, there's a lot of talking on social media already about maybe the possibility of having this process flawed. And therefore, that is the only thing that is worrying the people around Nairobi. And also, my good brother Jevan Karanja has talked about the political class, just having a thought that perhaps we are having William Ruto on the ballot, and in 2007 we saw whatever happened. And that this is happening today at the backdrop of the reality that even in 2017, when President Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to back down simply because he did not want bloodshed, rather than maybe ascend to office, whereas Kenyans would have maybe paid the price through losing their lives, William Ruto was much willing even to slap his boss so that they can be able to preserve power. So this is a man who is power hungry. This is a man who I believe cannot even concede. This is a man who has elevated himself, beyond and ahead of anyone else, and it is all about him. So therefore, people are also worried if we will be able to concede, being defeated in the forthcoming election. Owing to also, considering the fact that even the latest poll, Tifa poll that came out this morning is placing the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and Azimio la Umoja ahead of him. So those are the things that people or my countrymen are waiting to see how they will unfold. So just to summarize it, it is how the IEBC will conduct itself that will determine how the people react. Number two, it is how the political key players will actually also behave after losing the election. I submit, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Just go through the points that we have just got briefly because our time is clocking up. Then I come up with editor's memo. Miriam, what are your views on election and peace?
My views or what everybody else has said, but
or whatever. No, you also have a view. You have to add one or two.
I was actually just listening to what everybody else was saying, and I think there's something there that Kiptanui and also Jevan shared that perhaps I'm sure the government and the security apparatus in this country will pay attention to, and that is right now, from what they're saying, there are some Kenyans who are feeling anxious and uncertain, and perhaps they feel unsafe because of where they are currently, living, and that is because of the elections that we're expecting to have in the next couple of days. So no Kenyan should ever feel like that. And when you look at some of these fears, they're actually founded based on what the kind of history and what we've gone through as a country. So I'm just hoping through the mapping that has been done before, because the security apparatus are actually on high alert, and I'm sure their surveillance is on high alert right now, and they're some of these fears they've also expressed, and they've mapped this, what they call as hotspots. So I'm just hoping that proper apparatus will be put in place, and Kenyans will feel safe, and Kenyans will feel protected, and Kenyans will go out and vote. I think that's a conversation for another time, because the way we see these preparations going, I think that is something that we'll just leave there and see if at all it will even happen. But the day come and we are able to go vote, that Kenyans should go and vote, and nobody should feel victimized, nobody should feel unsafe because of their tribe, or who they are, or who they are supporting. But unfortunately, that is some of the ugly realities that we have to still be faced with, a few Kenyans from where they live, and so I'm hoping that the government can do something about that. And of course, Ruto had a meeting the other day with some leadership in Nakuru. I think the leaders from, one of the tribes there in Nakuru, and they were trying to address that. And Doc, we had that conversation here, and we wondered, how would you sit there and address the issue of security and assure these people security, and yet you don't even have the intelligence, the security apparatus? That is the work of the state. That is the work of the Interior Ministry, the government of Kenya, to sit down with Kenyans and tell them you are safe. So I don't know from what perspective or how DP was planning to offer these people protection, because that is the work of the Kenyan government, which he keeps saying that, he's not part of. But anyway, I think, Doc, peace and election in Africa in general is very elusive. They almost don't go hand in hand. And this is because of a couple of issues, the preparations of some of these elections, like we see here in Kenya. Truly, it is chaotic. It is chaotic. So it's a good recipe for disruption. We are praying nothing crazy happens. But from what we are seeing, it's really setting up stage for uncertainty in this country. And that has been the nature of a lot of elections in the continent. And there are no proper safeguards as far as free, fair, and verifiable and credible elections are concerned in the continent. So I think a lot of it has to do with the preparations and systems that are compromised and institutions that are weak. And so we set ourselves on fire, literally, as we've seen in lots of elections in Africa, but never all the same. Election has been a tool for disruption, if I could just use that. A few countries have their proper electoral processes right, like South Africa, Doc, we keep quoting that, and a few others. But in majority of our African countries, election has become a tool for disruption. People are, like right now, investors, nobody's thinking of building any industry in this country. We're just getting done with COVID. We're still dealing with it, but nobody is feeling like pumping more money and more capital, and people have adopted an attitude of wait and see, and that is affecting our economy. That is affecting the jobs that needs to be revived after we've been battling with COVID-19, but we can't because we have an election, which sometimes really upsets me. But unfortunately, that is the reality that we have to deal with. So I'm looking for a day where election will just be something that I have to do as my civil duty as a citizen in this country, and then go on about my life and not care who even becomes president, as long as I've casted my vote, because I know regardless of who is the president, my life and my being in this country is well taken care of. Maybe because at that point we'll have proper and stronger institutions that don't depend on who is at the helm of the country as the president.
Thank you. Thank you very much, all of you, Miriam and the panel. And thank you very much for the points that you have made. And thank you very much for the insights that you have told us this morning. It is good afternoon in Nairobi, Kenya. And this is the editor's memo. Elections across the continent of Africa bring anxiety, apprehension, and uncertainty that really causes quite a lot of difficulties for the people of Africa. Africa stands a chance if Africa ever looked at one item, and the only item that they can get amongst all the items: peace. Peace and the elections are the key words that ring every African, especially on the question of peace. But one of them produces products that are not peaceful, and that is the question of elections. Most of the African countries, from Congo, Brazzaville, Congo DRC, Tunisia, South Sudan, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya here. As soon as election and the word elections are mentioned, or the elections are prepared, or the date is announced, every citizen of this country, or every citizen on most of the parts of Africa, becomes insecure. They begin thinking of what will happen. We lose investors, as a point that has been brought out by Miriam. and others on the panel. There is nobody thinking of investment at the moment. People are thinking of elections. Does this election in Africa take most of our time that we should take in thinking? For example, in Kenya, someone has been campaigning for the last 4 years. Is there a time when we can put restriction on campaign, on election, after one leader has been chosen? Why do we come back and become politicians, all of us, going to rallies, spreading more and more hate, instead of going back to see what we can do for the nation after one has won and one has lost? Both of the people who took part, or both of the sides that have taken part, the losing side and the winning side, remain part and parcel of the integral systems of that country. I don't see why elections should be made a weapon that destroys peace. But it is up to us on the continent of Africa, today, tomorrow, to correct the mess. One of the problems of African continent is the lack of electoral systems, bad electoral systems, bad management of our elections. We don't prepare well, we prepare haphazardly. We don't have systems, mechanisms of elections. What type of election do we want? What type of governance? If so, why is it that every time, if we don't change, why is it that every time in South Africa, when elections take place, people finish and they go back home? Without waiting for the results and listen to them. There's only one solution, one solution, one solution. And the solution is proportional representation. A proportional representation governance system has given India stability. Has given several countries stability. Isn't it the time for now for Kenya to think of a new model, a mechanism that will give them stability so that people don't fear about the coming elections? I pose this question and I leave it to you people and the viewers who will get this clip and the video. Isn't it the time for Kenya to think about a proportional representation that will make elections a normal subject, not a hyper subject, hyped by politicians, which brings tension, anxiety, and could result or results into violence? The time is on our hands, and the time is now. If we change the mechanisms, the type of governance that we want, a proportional representation that has stabilized South Africa, that has stabilized some states in the world where people vote, go home, listen to their results. That is when Africa will have peace. And the peace will grow. And thank you, all of you, for listening to me. That is the editor's memo. I'm Dr. David Matanga. In fact, they added the name Dr. David Manzi Matanga from Punchline Africa TV together with the television. Proportional representation could heal the anxiety of the people of Kenya. Thank you.